seeing men all dressed in white, and they won't let my girlfriend talk to me.
You know, we were talking the other day about some of the stuff that you were processing now that maybe happened in the past. And do you feel that you've been on this journey of processing things throughout your life, or is it just is this a new
phase?
Yeah, phase.
I definitely think the processing's been going on through my whole life. Like, just to let everyone know, at the age of 55, I've been diagnosed with ADHD. Other people have said I should get checked out, and this has been going on for, 10 years at least, or 15 perhaps. And I thought, well, maybe it's time I did have it checked out, and I do have it, and that makes a lot of sense. Everything I have been trying to understand about myself and how I don't seem to fit in with the world all makes sense now. It's also helped me to understand other people, in that there are negative types who will capitalize on people who are unsure of themselves, and vulnerable, yeah. The predator personality comes out. Now, to take it back a bit, ADHD is something you're born with. It's a neurocognitive disease, I suppose. It's called a disease, but it comes with advantages as well. I'll get into that later. So I was born with it, most likely because my mother smoked and drank lots of alcohol when she was pregnant with all her kids, and so you could say I'm a victim of fetal alcohol syndrome, and that is consistent with people with ADHD and depression, by the way. And on top of all that, the actual childhood experience does also affect you, as I understand. And in my case, well, my mother died when I was about 2, and so my father couldn't look after us, so he sent us off to an orphanage, which happened to be an orphanage from hell.
And do you want to just explain to people, Peter, that it was one of those Anglican orphanages that has been reported and in the press, hasn't it? You know, where was it run by brothers, or?
It is a church-run organization, church-run orphanage. Well, it was a church-run orphanage, but I don't think we can blame the church itself. It was the person in charge. He was the worst predatory personality I've ever encountered in my life. He enjoyed the fear that he commanded from kids, from little children, and from the other staff. So yes, it wasn't so much the organization who ran it, but the person who ran it. But the organization should have had more control over what the staff were doing. So yeah, there is some accountability there, but I don't want to blame too much on the Anglican Church.
Oh no.
Now, where was I?
Was that Peter Hollingsworth one of them, Peter?
No, he, I don't know what his involvement was in all of that, other than he was one of the administrators who organized things like that. I think, yeah, I suspect he was involved with the top administration rather than the actual overseeing of the orphanages themselves. So you could say the policies that failed to failed to monitor the people in charge. So yeah, Peter Hollingsworth probably could have copped a bit of blame for that, I suppose. Yeah. Well, yes, that's right. The ADHD thing. When you've got that sort of person in charge, then it makes the other horrible people see it as an opportunity to express themselves, their true selves. And that, at the age of like 2.5 onwards, that's a pretty, what do you call it?
Intense.
Intense, yeah, but there's a
domineering, controlling.
There's a time period in your life when certain years are more influential on the rest of your life. It was during that time.
During those formative years, you are
formative. That's the word.
Yeah, you are growing, evolving, and learning skills, picking up language and behaviors and things that are all sorts of social cues, social skills.
Well, it was during that time that I was exposed to the bullies, a lot of psychological bullying. That's pretty nasty. So
name calling.
Oh, it's not just that. I mean,
devastating.
It's a domineering type. It's a power type thing. And it's not just in the adults, it's also in children, especially children, because they can get away with a lot more. But yeah, the point I'm making is, so I had that on top of the ADHD and not really being able to cope well. So I didn't do well in school. I didn't have a lot of friends. Essentially, I was weird, weird and insecure. But wait a minute. The thing is, I mentioned ADHD also comes with advantages. My theory on how that works, and I'm not sure if I understand this correctly, is that when we are made with built-in compensatory mechanisms. When there's a damaged part of us, we have compensatory mechanisms that kick in. And in the case of ADHD, when your mental organization skills, the cognitive parts that control your organization and your emotion regulation and that sort of thing, when they are damaged and fail, other parts kick in, and quite often it's the creative side of the brain tends to kick in to compensate.
Yeah.
So even though I never did well academically, I often had crazy ideas and lots of inventive ideas. And you yourself know I tried exploring some of those ideas back in the days. And yes, I've been on that path ever since. I seem to be doing pretty well as a result of of actually utilizing the strengths rather than trying to improve my weaknesses. I have managed to gain several uni degrees, and 2 of them were masters. One of them was supposed to be a PhD, but the two prominent researchers I based my hypothesis on turned out to be dodgy.
Can happen to anyone.
Sorry?
Can happen to anyone. It really can.
It does happen, actually. Yeah, when you discover that your heroes falsify their data.
Yeah.
So that's it's a dark world, and we sometimes have to find out the hard way. But I am still pursuing the use my creative side, inventive side, and I'm utilizing science now. yeah, I'm hoping to get into a PhD pretty soon in chemistry. So that's a pretty sweeping summation of what life's been like with ADHD.
Mm. And do you feel that, like someone like Stephen Fry has said that he doesn't feel his mental illness was a disadvantage, that it becomes sort of like a friend, and he has said that he is glad he has it. It's given him another level of, insight, and I think sometimes it can give you more of it doesn't make you better, but it makes you aware of things that maybe that you may not be aware of if you. So my question is, do you feel that it's not something that you're looking at from a negative perspective, but rather a positive, and that the diagnosis or the revelation is empowering knowledge?
Yes, I know what you mean. Up until about 5 years ago, I thought my situation, let's call it, was a weakness because I was constantly trying to be like other people. I've always admired other people who could organize things and could have command of their thoughts and their words. They don't lose words halfway through a sentence, things like that.
Mm.
And I've always tried to be like that. So I spent a lot of my life masking, it's called. But it was only approximately 5 years ago that I began to understand that maybe I have capabilities that is not common. And maybe I should be happy with those capabilities instead of being unhappy with everything else I don't have. And with the ADHD diagnosis and my education on the disadvantages and advantages of ADHD, I have come to understand that it is empowering. I can't say I'm happy with it, but it has given me reason to actually like myself.
Mm.
And I wish people could have seen the strengths, seen my strengths when I was younger, and they would have encouraged me in that area rather than saying you need to get more organized, or you need to control yourself better. Sit down, shut up, and be quiet. But no, I can't. But these days, that's changed a lot. See, in the 70s, or I don't know if it was just my schools I went to, they didn't credit the children with intelligence. They were just punished for being disobedient or uncontrolled, without self-control. So we end up punishing ourselves later, thinking, why can't I be like everyone else? Why can't I be normal? These days, people tend to encourage the strengths of the children rather than discourage the weaknesses. Yeah, and I think that's a very powerful thing to do, and it's very encouraging, and it would really, really make a huge, big difference on in the lives of the kids, of any child, regardless of mental illness or not.
Mm-hmm. And do you find that I often look at like the era that we were growing up in as teenagers, and there wasn't a lot of education on mental health, mental diagnosis, ADHD. I don't even think it was a diagnosis back then. There was no word for it. There was no
They just called it hyperactive.
Hyperactive. That's what they called it. Hyperactive. You've drunk too much red cordial.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
how hard was it for you to make your way without having that powerful advocacy of a mother, whether it's a mother that's impaired or has issues? Nevertheless, it's your mum, and just even having that person gone. And then you've got people that in our era could be quite, for me, it was the nuns. Some of them were so violent and terrifying, more terrifying than any, you know, it was, they were to be feared. And so for you, not having someone that, you know, these type of people, sort of the, it can put you behind. You've already got issues or challenges that are outside of what is deemed the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
How do you then navigate your way through that to have such a, you know, beautiful, you've have a beautiful family, and, you know, such your talents that have come out. Some people maybe their talents that have come out, and your ability to achieve things academically are not to be underestimated. Yeah, I mean, even with your PhD, when you were doing that, I mean, you got a scholarship for that, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, these things like are not trivial. I think, you know, when you achieve things academically, sometimes people can try and minimize that, or like that it's not a big deal. And it's like, man, are you kidding? I climbed Mount Everest, and I'm a parent, you know. Whether some people, like when I did my first degree, like some people, they get to go home, order a pizza, or go to the uni bar, but they get to go home, order a pizza, and pick up the remote control and watch TV. For me, I have to, you know, bath my child, feed her, you know, take care of and my child was a toddler when I was going to university first time, and they are just, you can't take your eyes off them, you know. So until they're asleep, your break does not happen until they go to sleep, you know. So I think that, you know, that your 2 master's degrees, what are they in, Peter?
First one was a Masters of Applied Science.
Yeah.
I was investigating a labeling, a machine-readable labeling system for the leather tanning industry. Second one, that was supposed to be the PhD, I was investigating the long-range structuring of water molecules at hydrophilic interfaces. I know it sounds impressive.
Does.
But yeah, that turned out to be very disappointing. But to answer your
what do you mean
question,
it turned out disappointing? You still got your master's out of it, didn't you?
it was supposed to be a PhD. Instead, it became a Master's of Philosophy, which is an MPhil, PhD.
Sorry, just 1 second. I'll have to edit this bit. Sorry, Peter.
All good. All right.
Okay.
So we're back. So where were we?
So
you were,
so you're saying that it was downgraded to a PhD because of
to a master's.
To a master's, sorry.
Oh, because I wasn't able to get enough content to actually make a significant contribution to the body of knowledge. That's what you need to do in order to achieve a PhD. But because the prominent researchers that on whom I based my hypothesis, they because they didn't verify their work or falsify their data, I wasn't able to achieve what I was hoping to achieve. Basically, I was trying to combine the research of both of those two fellows to come up with something entirely new to be applied to the treatment of cancer.